welcome back to my channel. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, excuse my t-shirt. I'm usually way more professional on camera, but this heat is not one to play with. Definitely, this isn't the same heat from 5 years ago. It is 102 degrees outside my house right now, and wow. But anyways, what a interesting couple of weeks in the housing market it has been. I know it's so much chatter, everybody, it's a lot of negativity going around as far as inflation, recession, home prices are going down. It's so much to keep up with. But as I always say, it's more noise than what is actually happening. So, of course, today is going to be a real estate video, but this one is specifically, again, for my sellers. So for one, I want to just throw this chart up here real quick. So this is, let's get down to the data, the numbers, the basics, so you guys really understand. So over the last 6 recessions, 4 of them, home prices went up. Home prices did not go down. So just because you hear the word recession does not necessarily mean housing market is crashing. It's definitely shifting. You know, sellers had the one up. We're coming to where buyers are kind of getting the 2 ups. And like I said, this is a seller video, but I just want to give this message real quick. If you are a seller, you're still walking away with a lot of equity. You're still walking away, like I say in all my videos. No, you may not get the 100,000 over asking. You may not get the 20,000 over asking. But as long as you do your part and your motivation to sell is valid, I'm sure within the last 2 months or even just the last year, your home is worth a lot more than what you anticipated. And I mean, even what you probably just expected naturally. And if you're a buyer or, you know, a seller that will, you know, be relocating or transitioning, buying again, you have options now. Now is the time to home shop. This is what we're gonna call the home shopping market, because you don't have to just settle, which a lot of people were doing because that's where their offer was getting accepted. You no longer have to settle on a home or just, you know, take first come, first serve. You actually have time to shop. So I want to just, you know, dead the water. I want to clear out all the negativity, because the news likes to scare us more than they like to inform us. So I'm always going to be the information side. But yes, I just wanted to get that out there, and then I wanted you guys to see this chart. But you know, I'll go into another video with that. But to all my sellers who are thinking about selling, so my last video was, is right now a good time to sell? Yes, because your appreciation is going to be at its highest. Inventory is extremely low, so people, there's still some bidding going on, but people are actually shopping now. So, you know, in order to secure a home, somebody may offer you above, you know, asking price. It's definitely a great time to get in the game and, you know, weigh your options and see how it goes. So this video, I am going to be providing tips on how to prepare your home to be sold. Stay tuned. So our first tip on the list for how to sell your home, number 1 is clean it. Yes, clean it. I know that sounds like petty, like duh. No, we need like a good old-fashioned clean. Like, I need you to scrub the walls, clean the cabinets, clean the seasoning cabinet, you know, mop the floors, all the spider webs, you know, whatever you got that, you know, potentially can is not looking good on the eye when a person walks in your home, we need all of that to be clean. You know, bathrooms, clean the corners around the toilet, just literally and I know so many people before they even like put their house on the market, some people do a coming soon and then hire an actual, you know, cleaning company or some sort to actually come and clean their home prior to this. So whatever corner you have to cut, if you got to spend a little money to, you know, get the higher price point, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm sure, like, you know, depending on how big your house is, but I'm pretty sure, you know, an extra $300 to $500, it will help you in the long run actually maybe gain an extra 10,000. So that is not guaranteed. As I always say, everybody's situation is different, but it definitely, you know, it definitely is easier on the eye when the house is sparkling. There's no spider webs, there's no dust, you know, it's like fresh, bright, and like you can smell the pine sol in the air when we walk in the home for the showing. Number 2, declutter. I mean, literally go inside and out and declutter. The closets, the garage, your backyard, like all the stuff that you do not need, especially if you're just preparing to move. Let's go ahead and start packing this stuff up. Yes, we can put it all in the garage and like just have the garage off limits, but we need buyers to be able to see visions. Like I said, for buyers, it is home shopping season. So, and we're curving the way where it's not so much of a seller's market. Buyers are getting a little ahead of the way. So they're going to be picky. They're going to, you know, we need buyers to see the vision. So of what they can turn the home into. So we need it to be decluttered as possible. I am one that I hate telling people this, like, take all the pictures off the wall. Like, you know, if you have any personal items, like, you know, trophies and things, like, we basically it needs to not look like your home anymore. So even if we have to stage it and literally take all of your belongings out, we need people to see the potential in the home. So declutter is number 2. Like, get in there, get in the closet, like, so people pack up all the clothes, like, so people can like visually see this amount of space, true space that is available. And, you know, they see the option, you know, I'm kid you not, I've walked in so many homes where it just like, they personalize. I mean, of course we all personalize our homes, but it's still so personalized when showing. It's kind of like almost uncomfortable. Like, are you moving out or no? Like, is it on the market or no? Because it very much looks like you still live here and are very much still in control. So we just want to declutter as much as possible and just clean up and just get rid of whatever we can. And this also kind of gives you a head start on the moving, because obviously once we're in escrow, we don't know how fast it's going to go. So, you know, this kind of just gives you a head start on being ready to go, you know, once escrow closes, and be out of the house free and clear. Jumping into number 3. And I know a lot of people don't think about this, but curb appeal. Curb appeal is number 3. When I pull up to the house, I need it to be clean. I mean, and especially no matter if it's a fixer upper, I mean, if it's a, you know, a higher priced house, like, I rather see like just straight dirt as opposed to like weeds, or like, you know, mow the lawn, you know, mow the front of the grass. I mean, whatever you can do, you know, paint the stairs, the front of the house. I mean, literally when we pull up, we need to be like, oh my gosh, like, I could live here. And that's what a lot of people miss. And yes, I will definitely say, like, the most feedback you get is, oh, when we pulled up, I didn't know how it was going to be in the inside. But when we saw the inside, it was actually cool. But do you see how much of a factor that is? That's already 50% of the buyer's, you know, opinion on the house. So, you know, in realtor form, when we're reviewing houses with our buyers, you know, and we may see 10 houses and we have them rate them, that is potentially bringing your house, like, I saw the inside was way nicer than the outside was. That's already half of the opinion. So that could either have somebody overlook your house and just not even consider it, or it could, you know, potentially, depending on what you do, it could bring you to number one. So, you know, that's something that you definitely want to take into consideration. And no, I'm not saying do an HGTV curb appeal and, you know, buy a whole new flower bed if you can. Okay. I'm not saying that, but let's just make it appealing. You know, sweep the front porch, you know, those have cobwebs and, you know, things as well. You know, dust the lights off, you know, pressure wash the front of the house. You know, just make it look appealing, you know, when we first pull up. So already we're like, wow, I could really see myself living here. Now let's go see what the inside looks like. So number 4, I know this is where many of us realtors kind of butt heads with our sellers. But it's definitely helpful, and it definitely puts you ahead of the game. So make any repairs, for number 4, make any repairs that are cheap and inexpensive, or DIY what you can. So, you know, if you have wires hanging out and you know where the wires lead to, let's go ahead and clean that stuff up. If a light bulb needs to be changed, let's go ahead and do that. If you're, you know, some people's doorbells are hanging out and then you got to hold it to push it. I mean, like that stuff, like that petty stuff, let's just go ahead and clean it up. Now, yes, it may be petty to me, but I'm a realtor, and I mean, if you're a homeowner, you definitely know that a doorbell is not that expensive. You could go to Home Depot and, you know, pick out as many doorbells as you need to. You know, just the cheap things that you can do by yourself. As I said, if you need to paint the front porch or paint the inside of your house, you know, I know some people like are smokers and they smoke in the house, and then you have that one room where the wall's not even white, it's like a smoggy yellow. Let's go ahead and paint. Like buying a can of paint, we're not saying go above and beyond. We're just saying get a basic, you know, thing of paint, maybe gray, you know. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but let's just go ahead and add value to the home. Let's look at it as adding value. So all of these, you know, all of this is going to add value to your listing price, but we want to add as much value as possible. That way, if we get a buyer and we get in contract, they're not coming and trying to take all the money away from us. Like, I am one, like I will negotiate, you know, to the bottom, but I do not want you giving up $10,000 of things that we could have fixed prior. As the listing agent and as you being the seller, let's cut as many corners as we can. And I'm just like, a lot of people think it is like, you know, I'll just sell my home as is, they can take it or leave it. I mean, if you genuinely cannot afford it, then I totally understand. Like I said, we're adding value and, you know, making it look nice so we can try to get top dollar. Now, if it comes back in inspections and, you know, there is something like, you know, the inspector can tell what we kind of just polished over and like just put a band-aid on, but it's nothing okay with that band-aid. Like literally, I want you guys to know that there is nothing wrong with just putting a band-aid over, and then when the buyer does their due diligence, they figure it out on their own that they can have somebody do, you know, an accurate job, or they can just accept it as is. So this one is number 5. So this one is in regards to defensible space. Now, this is only in California. Is this a thing? Because obviously we are a fire state. So defensible space is basically where around the house there has to be 100 feet in between the house and the brush, the trees, the yard, You know, people, this is mostly going to be for like my people who live in the hills, live in like desert areas. So let's say this is a house and then this is like your yard or like your landscaping. There has to be 100 feet. I know this isn't 100 feet, but you know, let's just look at it if it was on camera. There has to be 100 feet around the entire property from the actual house to your landscaping. So these are things that are going to come up on the natural hazard report when you're in contract. And I'm so surprised that a lot of California homeowners do not know this. But as we educate more, I know that the California Association of Realtors has now updated documents and there's forms. So these are valid topics now that, you know, go into contract negotiations. So these are things that people are aware of, and before purchasing a home, unfortunately, they do have to be disclosed this information. And if there isn't 100 feet of defensible space, that is potentially putting your contract at risk of, you know, falling out of escrow or you not being able to find a buyer. So what I tell people is clean up all the brush around your around the home. Cut whatever trees may need to be cut. This is going to maybe be on the higher, you know, cost effective, you know, as far as fixing, if you're not regularly doing it. So if you don't have a landscape person, or, you know, if you don't have anybody doing that, this is going to be a little more cost, but it is cost effective. Because like I said, this is going to add value. A lot of California homeowners don't even know that. They know like the fire code and the fire safety things, but even when you're doing renovations and things like that, you want to have all of that stuff away from the house because you just never know. And I don't want to like sound off an alarm, or like, you know, it's not a 911 emergency, but it can be. So, you know, this is something I just want to make you guys aware of just in general, you know, just as a homeowner in California. Number 6, which is kind of just a bonus tip. If you know that you're going to be selling your home or going to market, you can always ask your realtor to go ahead and pull a title report. A title report is going to let you know what liens are against the property, and as far as your mortgage, or if you have anything going on with the state or with the county, taxes update, blah, 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 blah. In the title report, this kind of just gives you a head start. So once you get into escrow, you can have a smooth, clean escrow. So anything that needs to be cleaned up paperwork wise on the house, you've kind of just already started that process. You know, just kind of getting ahead of the game. So things, if you have to dig in a box and find some paperwork, or, you know, if you kind of have to go above and beyond to find things that may not have, that you've expected to be closed out, that may not be closed out. So that kind of just gives you a head start on the paperwork. And like I said, your realtor can do that for you and provide you with a title report, just so you're aware of what's going on with the house. And like I said, this ensures for a smooth, clean escrow. So that way nothing is holding the buyers up. And, you know, sometimes these are things that can potentially, you know, make or break the contract. Let's say if there's no permits, you know, for work that has been done, maybe possibly ADU permits that you do not have, you know, just, and like I said, your realtor, whatever realtor you work with, can go over that part with you. But like I said, that was just a bonus tip, just to, you know, kind of get you ahead of the game on the paperwork. Hey, your title report may be perfect and it may not even be anything to consider. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this video. I hope that this helped some of my sellers. Like I said at the beginning, I definitely wanted to provide that info that home values are not decreasing. Home values are going to continue to appreciate, especially here in California. I mean, inflation is on the rise, and so is gentrification. So, you know, pretty much all of SoCal is kind of going through that. So hey, it's just gonna get better and better and better after time, but with that better, it's gonna get more and more expensive after time. So, you know, I don't want you to think if you're selling and buying again that, you know, you're gonna be losing money, because you are absolutely not. And you know, the data is there, like, you know, like I showed that graph at the beginning. The last 6 recessions, and even like the most recent one in COVID, when they thought the world was gonna topsy-turvy, home prices flew through the roof, literally. So, you know, I'm always here with the information for you guys. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, where I give daily updates. Not daily, but I give lots of updates. I always am sharing graphs, charts, information. And I just want you guys to, you know, make decisions wisely. Do not move off of fear. The news likes to instill fear in us, and I will say that again. They instill fear instead of clarity, and, you know, they just like to have us running around in a frenzy, and we don't have to. But I want you guys to come back, tune in, keep tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and share, and I will see you guys soon. Mwah.